Hello, welcome back to another video, and if you're here for the first time, welcome. So I have here, as promised, finally my gesture drawing tutorial. But before we start, I just want to give you some piece of news. So basically, I decided to make another channel which is called Cozy Canvas Diaries. And in that channel, my idea is to start to uploading those Draw With Me videos and vlogs in that channel, just to have things a bit more separate and leave this one just for tutorials as well as product reviews that I might have, for example, for drawing tablets. So yeah, that's the idea. And if you like watching those more cozy videos, the sketch with me videos, the scroller box ones, Draw With Me, as well as the vlogs, please go subscribe to my new channel, Cozy Canvas Diaries. I will leave you a link down below, and by the time this video comes out, I will already have a video on that channel. So go check it out, leave it a comment or two, and I hope you enjoyed those videos as well. So with that out of the way, I have here my iPad and my pencil, and let's practice some gesture drawing. Alright, so I have here three references, and that's what we're going to use for this exercise. Now I'm not going to do a whole lot of different poses because I don't want you to see just a lot of quantity here. I want you to understand the process and then try to do it yourself. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the opacity of my layers just enough so I can still clearly see them, but be able to draw on top. Then I'm going to create a new layer on top. And the first thing I'm going to do, and this is something you can do as an exercise in itself, which is look for the line of action. Now, what is the line of action? This is an imaginary line that usually follows the neckline, down the back, and follows the legs, for example, but it can be anywhere really. But usually it's the line that captures the whole pose, so the main line, let's say, because of course the body isn't made of only one line, but it's the one that you think that translates the pose best. So for example, for this one, I always like to start with a circle, so I know where the head is, and for me the line of action, this arched line going this way. So this is it for me. Now, of course, there's no one true line of action. For me, it might be this one, but for you, it could be from this arm, for example. But for me, it's this one. It shows the movement a bit, but it gives us more movement, I think, and I really like this line, this curved line here. So yeah, for me, this is it. All right, so let's see the next one. Once again, I'm going to start with a circle for the head. Now, a circle is enough. You don't need to draw any facial features, nothing, especially in this stage. Just circle and a line. Gesture drawing isn't about details. Gesture drawing is about being able to capture a pose with as few lines as possible. So it's a very quick exercise, all right? So for me, for this one, once again, we have this curved line. I can even add this line for the arm and then another one here. This is it. Let me just lower the opacity a bit more so it's easier to see. Alright, now last one. This is the easiest pose perhaps, or the simplest one. For me, I'm going to choose this area for the legs, this line, and then another one going down. There we go. So this is it, the line of action, and you can do just this for now. If you're not feeling too confident yet in gesture drawing and in figure drawing in general, this is one thing that you can do, is to fill out a few pages of your sketchbook only with the line of action. And another thing you can do, like you can start by drawing on top of your references like I'm doing here, but afterwards you can just practice that line of action without having the visual helper below it. So have a few references in front of you and then draw the line of action on your sketchbook, for example. Now, the second step for me is to look for shapes. I could leave this gesture drawing just like it is. It works, but for the next step, I like to look for shapes. So I'm going to add a new layer on top, and what I'm going to do is basically build the body, but out of shapes. So for example, I can start here with the torso, which is a bean shape for me. Then we have here the arm and a hand. And as you can see, I'm just using very simple shapes, all right? Just some lemon wedges and pins and triangles, sometimes rectangles. And then we have the skirt, and then triangle, triangles for the feet. There we go, very simple shapes as you can see. And yes, this time around I'm still drawing on top of my references, so I can truly understand how the body moves and what shapes I should use depending on the pose or the body part. All right, next one. So we got here one arm, right? Then the other, and a triangle for the hand. Now once again, and another bean. So as you can see, we got a lot of beans here, especially for the torso. Another circle. So as you can see, I'm using the exact same shapes here. Circle and a bean for the torso. And now for the rest, some lemon wedges. And another triangle for the foot. Now same thing on the other leg. Very basic shapes. Triangle and another triangle. There we go. And now for the final pose. This time, well, we can still use the pin. So we have here this curve, right? So we can still use the pin here. We can make here a line so we know where the waist is, for example. And now, once again, we got our pins and triangle for the hand. Or beans, no, or lemon wedges, I'm sorry. Same thing for the other arm, and now same thing for the legs. Like this, and a triangle. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Of course, you can use a different shape. Maybe for you it's more rectangles. It's totally up to you. Now, what I do as a bonus phase, especially if you're just at the start and you're not feeling yet too confident in this or not too used at drawing the human body, is to practice these shapes to the side. I'm going to fast forward this part a little bit because you don't need to see me going over this, but I'm going to do this very quickly. But basically what we want to do is just to repeat what we drew on top of our references, but without the references below. And you can do this as many times as you want, and as you do, you might even find other shapes that work best or other ways to build the body. This is a perfect time for you to experiment with shapes. All right, so here we have it, and as you can see, I went through a lot of takes here. You do a shape, then you see that it's not really that great, and you do it again. But as you can see, this is it, just copying the shapes you just did. I did this very quickly, and try to not fall into the trap of trying to fix your shapes over and over, because in the next step, actually you can leave it just as it is, but if you want to have a more human figure, you can go to the next step, which is just basically outlining your pose and make it look more human. I'm going to lower the opacity of this layer here, and now I'm going to go over the body and make it look a bit more like a person. I'm not going to add a lot of features here. What I want is to just give it more of a figure look. Nothing too detailed, but of course you can add as many details as you want. It really depends on the artist. I like to keep it very simple, just give it a bit more shape. We can even like just draw some hair going down, just like this. See, very simple. I'm just basically outlining my shapes here and drawing the body. This is usually my last step of figure drawing. And also I'm using Procreate to do this and doing this digitally, but you can do this with just a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, all right? You don't need to use the same things that I'm using. All right, next one. Not totally happy with this pose, but that's fine. We just move on, and if you want, you can just repeat the pose. Not doing it this time because that's not why you're here, but it is something you can do, all right? You can repeat your poses as much as you want. Just don't forget that one of the goals here is to try to do this quickly. So one thing a lot of people do with gesture drawing is using a timer. So you can also do that. You can try using a timer. Usually I recommend 2 minutes to do this. Maybe just not this part, but like the line of action and shapes. Those are usually enough. And that's the time that I usually recommend for gesture drawing. So just focus on line of action and then shapes. And then if you want, you can refine your poses a bit more, just like I did here. All right, so we're finished. Just 3 poses here. I'm not looking for quantity right now, although if you're just starting with just a drawing, I would recommend you to first look for a bunch of references or go to websites like Adorka Stork. She has this tool for gesture drawing where you choose a timer and the references will change accordingly. So you have a 2 minute timer, like I said, for example, and you'll have to draw that pose in that time until the next post appears. That's a great tool for gesture drawing. You have also line of action. That's also a great website. I will leave all these links down below for you to use for your exercises, for your gesture drawing sessions if you want. These are very simple to use websites and they will show you different poses and different references for you to use, so they're great. Or if you prefer, you can just look up your own references or even take pictures of your own. You can just act any pose you like and then draw them. And as you can see, like I told you, you can first just look up the line of action on top of your images if you like. If you're doing this traditionally with a pen or a pencil, what you can do is print out those images, those photos, with the opacity lowered and then draw on top of them as well. I did this digitally just so it's easier for everyone and for me to show you. Also, I don't have a printer, so it's easier for me to show you this way. But you can do this with pen and pencil. When I started gesture drawing, it was just me and my sketchbook, and I actually would watch videos on it or a class on it and draw along the class. So yeah, start with the line of action. No, nothing too complicated, no expectations here, just one line, maybe a circle for the head, or well, maybe two lines like we did for this one, right? We have this line and then another, same thing here. So yeah, it all depends. There's no true line of action, all right? Just go with your gut and what feels best for you, or you can try different line of actions and then decide the one that makes the most sense. So it's totally up to you, and there's really no wrong way to do it. And you can just leave it as it is. And once you're ready, you can go to the next step, which is looking for shapes. Simple shapes, as you can see, I like to use like bean shapes, lemon wedges, and circles, but you can use something else. You can use rectangles, triangles. I also use triangles for the hands and the feet, for example, but it's totally up to you the kind of shape you use. And then this is a bit of an extra bonus step, let's say. But I do recommend you to do this, especially at the beginning, is to practice those shapes without having the reference below. Just practice those shapes more than once if needed. Maybe you'll have to change the shapes, maybe not, totally up to you. And then if you want, you can go to the next step, which is just refining your pose a little bit. Nothing too complicated, just going over, outlining the pose you did, and just give it a more person look, let's say, so it looks more like a person. You can add hair if you want, but just keep things simple, all right? Just a drawing is supposed to be a simple drawing. This is not a full rendering of a person. This is just to capture the pose. And this will help you to create more fluid poses, to add more movement to your drawings. This is a great exercise to get to be more confident in your lines and on how you draw people. And it's a very quick exercise that won't take you too long. You can just do a 20-minute session, for example, or even less. So yeah, this is it. I hope this was helpful for you. News class, I have a new class on doodles, so it's 7 days of doodles, each day a different theme. We'll explore different materials, different themes, different drawings, and the idea is for you to watch one video per day and explore a different theme a day. So that class is now available on Skillshare. I will leave you a link down below. Don't forget that if you use that link, you get 1 month of Skillshare Premium. What else? I'm working on a new one. I'm working on a class about Procreate Basics. So if you're interested in that, look forward to it. Hopefully it will be out in a few weeks. We'll see, hopefully. But yeah, I think this is it for now. Don't forget to check out my other channel, Cozy Canvas Diaries. I hope to see you there. I hope this was a helpful tutorial. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to learn, any kind of thing like drawing people or not. Let me know in the comments and perhaps I'll make a tutorial on that. And I think this is it for now. Like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye!